Hello, everyone. It's time for Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Peop. This is episode 375, season 15. Today's date is October 20th, 2024, and welcome to the show. On today's program, I'm going to talk about the 50/50 soda from Canfield's. I've talked about Canfield's before, but that was just the entire line, but I'm going to talk about this particular soda. So I'll talk about my memories of that. Also, I'll talk about the donut machine that was located at the basement of Gately's People's Store. That was a department store in the Roseland neighborhood in Chicago. And that's a fun subject to talk about. I miss it to this day. Okay. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Bully Toilet Bowl Cleaner. I remember this one. So here's a commercial from 1984. Okay. So sit back and relax, and I'll be right back, folks. Thank you.
Don't be bullied. Don't be bullied.
It's always been a nasty job.
Somebody's got to do it.
But somebody's got to do it. Now there's Bully, automatically releasing 100% concentrated bleaching powder everywhere the water goes, even under the rim.
Don't be bullied by your bowl.
I could have done it.
Bully your bowl instead.
And now Bully Plus Blue.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Bully Toilet Bowl Cleaner. I remember this one from the 1980s. It was like, for example, it was automatic and it lasts for 2 months and cleans up your toilet bowl. What else can I say? Then it turned into Swish, if you remember that. Then I think both products disappeared into the 90s, so I don't know what had happened. But if you can find the commercial on YouTube, it's kind of funny where there's this couple and they're in their house and they're facing a gigantic toilet. So it's hilarious. You know, it's like there was competition of, you know, with advertisement, you know, with toilet bowl cleaners, like, you know, Tidy Ball, what's the other one? Vanish, I think. Yeah. All kinds. Lysol, you know. It's very essential, you know, to clean your toilet bowl. Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, at the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about the 50/50 soft drink that came from that brand of Canfield's in Chicago. Also, I'm going to talk about my memories of the donut machine that was located in the basement of Gately's People department store that was located in Roseland neighborhood in Chicago. Before I get started, I'm going to mention a couple of things. Ever since I posted this thing, a lot of people still miss it. You know, the 50/50, that is. There were other flavors, so yeah, I'll get into more detail as I start, but people miss it to this day, you know. Another thing I want to mention is, you know, for the past couple of days, I've noticed that people post things on my group, you know, and when someone asks a question, you know, you have to, because a lot of people don't know things, and you have to respond, you know, nicely, of course, you know, because a lot of people don't know everything. You know, like, for example, politics, sports, you know, I don't know a lot of politics in the group. But if it's sports, entertainment, or history, you know, Chicago, and they ask, oh, do you remember this? Do you have any information of where was this located? Who lived there and all that, you know? And I've noticed a couple people get a little snarky, you know, and very rude, you know, and sometimes it gets a little out of hand. So, but then people send it to me to report it. This person's rude. This post doesn't belong there. Or now the number one complaint is it's often repeated, the post, which is true. It is. So I have a great memory. I remember, this post was like what, a couple hours ago, sometimes yesterday. Why would I want to repost that, or approve that? No, I just get rid of it. You can find it, or do your search. Why people don't want to see it again? Or like if something happened, like for example, when Mitzi Gaynor passed away, some people post multiple times, like 2 or 3 times, and sometimes from the same person. I go, no, once enough. That's it. Unless it's something different, unless she was appearing somewhere in the Chicagoland area, which is fine. But if it's her announcement, no, it's not necessary. I don't know a lot of things myself. Like, for example, I'm not a sports fan. I don't, but, Chicago Cubs, White Sox, I'll post that, for historical reasons, not birthdays, really. We've seen enough about, Walter Payton. He was a great football player. Yes, he was, but not every day or like multiple posts about him. That's overkill. You don't want that. Or Michael Jordan. Yeah, he was a great basketball player. True. But, I'm trying to be fair with that. So, just take it easy. Don't get upset. No, don't like that, and you got like if, there were times like when I'm out, with my friends or with people, and they ask me about yesterday's ball game, and I say, "Oh, I didn't watch it. I don't know." They understand, but if it's strangers like that, they give me the funny looks. You go, huh? You don't watch baseball? You don't watch football? No. You can watch whatever you want. That's great. If you're a fan and you love the game, don't let me stop you. I like what I like. You like what you like. That's how it is. If you have a hobby that you're passionate about, stick with it. That's what matters. That's what's important. You have to understand that. It gets out of control sometimes, so it's crazy like that. All right. Anyway, let's go back to some fun. As for the 50-50 soft drink, that was consist of grapefruit and lime. My earliest memories of that soft drink was the labeling, the coloring, like the 50 and the 50 was red and green. It's like a traffic light. And the Canfield with a big C on it with the Anfield in the middle, like that. The distribution center or headquarters was like 89th Street and State Street in the Chatham neighborhood. And it was there for years. I don't know if they had a warehouse elsewhere. I'm not sure. I remember seeing the trucks. They would drive around. They would bring sodas to grocery stores. They load them all up. Now we see the Canfield sign. Also billboards, which were all over the Chicagoland area, like that. And I've had 50-50. Excuse me. I had 50-50 when I was a kid. I thought it was sour. And, I'm crazy about grapefruit, but no, I didn't like it. I don't like grapefruit juice or all that. And unless I was introduced to Fresca, which is good. I like that. It's strange. Anyway, so 50-50, I don't know when exactly it was introduced. Maybe in the 50s, late 50s, until late probably in the 90s or something like that. Canfield's made. Then it was continued. Another company made them. Some other company called Graff's. I'm not familiar with that. I think it's up north somewhere. And according to some people, it was still available. You can order it on Amazon, or you go up into Wisconsin and you could see it, or somewhere out of state and you could see that. I don't know if it tastes the same, probably not, but people have fond memories of that. It came in cans, it came in bottles, which probably tastes better. Well, in my opinion, it did. So, so they just drink it straight, or on the rocks, or they made punch. About 7 years ago, I posted that same photo which was called Chicago Extinct Businesses before Event Chicagoland. And everyone went crazy like that. Especially one person in particular was Robin Baumgarten from WGN Morning News. And she said, I grew up on that. I loved it. I drank it and all that. And she mentioned that her mother made this punch. And she was right, because some of my mom's friends made that too. So you know what she did? She posted the recipe on her wall. It's like that. And it's not exactly the same as other people, but it's almost identical like that. So, so this is what she said. So here's the recipe. And she says she makes it every time, like around Thanksgiving or Christmas. And she says, take 1 to 2 liter bottle of 50/50, 1 bottle of champagne, and 1 quart of sherbet. Frozen sherbet, red, orange, green, whatever you want. And then and you make punch out of that. So that sounded delicious. I remember I used to go to parties, and a friend of my mom's, probably New Year's Day, she used to make that, or one of the women that helped her make that punch. I think I had to double check with my mom. My mom never made it. I don't think she did. So it was almost identical. I don't know if she put champagne in it, probably something else, And I was a kid, but when you're a teenager, I didn't know alcohol was in it. Nobody said anything. But I think she didn't put alcohol in it, because my mom would ask, is there alcohol in it? She would say no. Maybe she made a separate one, for the adults, maybe for the kids, but it was good. It was good. Someone told me that sometimes they put vanilla ice cream in it. Yeah, I guess so. But I think sherbet was the best. It was or rainbow sherbet, or lime, or raspberry, or orange. Lemon? Never tried the lemon. Anyway, so the 50/50 was a very good drink. I wouldn't drink it today because, unfortunately, I'm on blood pressure medicine, so that would affect my condition, according to my doctor. So he told me, don't drink anything of that. Don't avoid grapefruit, even not a drink, to avoid the fruit. So, okay, but I never liked the fruit anyway. No. But grapefruit is sour. Oh, it's so sour. Oh. I would not drink it. No. So, there are some items on eBay you can find. Bottles, cans, playing cards, a lamp, what else? Swizzle sticks. Find all kinds of things. It's kind of cool like that. Anyway, so there were other drinks of sodas that, I'm sorry, a lot of other sodas came out from Canfield's that were quite memorable, like Anna Banana, the grape soda, Honey Bee, orange, draft root beer. I can name them all. There were so many. Cherokee Red, cherry cola. So much. Oh, of course, the most famous one is Diet Chocolate Fudge. I'll talk about that one day. I drank that in the 80s. I did drink that. It was good. Some people hated it. Some people loved it, and it helped them lose weight. I hope it did. I don't know. For me, not really. So that was fine. I don't know if they add anything with it. Like you put it on with food. With dessert. Yeah. They. You know what? I remember a long time ago I forgot what paper, the Sun Times or the Tribune. I think the Tribune. That was a columnist. His name was Bob Green. He got fired. He talked about this product, the Diet Chocolate Fudge. So, and he said he drank it all the time and he loved it. And then that took, the response was like, whoosh. We talked about that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry I went off subject. So the 50-50, it was a great drink. I wish they bring it back. They have something similar on the market now. It's Squirt. I tried Squirt years ago. It's not the same. It's kind of sour. If you like it, fine. I don't know if it had lime in it. Probably not. It's probably grapefruit. Some people love it. They really do. Other people. Of all the comments that I noticed from yesterday until today on Dan Chicagoland, I only saw like about 2 people that didn't like 50-50 at all. They hated that stuff. They said it was crap. I can understand that. Everyone has their own taste. No problem. Okay. So that was it. All right. Right now, I'm going to take a quick break. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about the donut machine that was located in the basement of Gately's People's Store. That was a department store located on East 112th Street and Michigan Avenue in the Roseland neighborhood of Chicago. So just sit back and relax, and I'll be right back, folks. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. Right now, I'm going to talk about the donut machine that was located in the basement of Gately's People's Store. It was a department store located on East 112th Street and South Michigan Avenue. It was right on the corner in the Roseland neighborhood where I used to live from 1969 to 1974. Let me start at the beginning of this because my family lived there. We lived on top of a shoe store. The property was owned by my father. He didn't run the shoe store. He was the landlord. He had his own regular job at the Conrad Hilton downtown. He bought the property in 1965. And we lived in South Shore at the time. I've told this story before. And my mom wanted to buy a house, which is understandable. You have 3 kids. And they want to run around and play and all that. Not in some apartment that's really cramped. You don't have much movement. And he said, yeah, we'll buy a house. And my mom kept pestering him. But we finally did. We moved out in 1974 and we bought a house. So that's great. But I did have fond memories of Roseland because back then it was a beautiful neighborhood. And we lived right in the middle of the shopping mecca of that. And I would look out the window from the living room and I see all the stores and I see people walking around, especially Christmas time. And it was gorgeous, with the lights and, the snow, with the flurries. And right outside the window was the sign of the shoe store. It was called Shift Shoes. And I remember the sign. I remember it changed. I don't think it was blinking. No, I don't think so. But I think the word shift or the name of shift was red, and I think the word shoes was blue. Anyway, across the street was Bagel's Bakery. Oh, remember those eclairs? They were delicious, and there was Lee Optical. There was Flag Brothers, the shoe store. On the corner was Nino's Pizza, which moved out, and they moved to Alsip, 111th and Cicero. I have not been there yet. I don't know why. I should go. That's silly. I got to go see it. Or have lunch there, at least. They opened one in Madison, Illinois, but that closed. Anyway, so of course, the biggest draw in that neighborhood was Gately's People Store. And it was a department store owned by James Gately. He owned it for many, many, many years in the early 20th century. And the owner was often there. He would, if you walk in, I remember the revolving doors, he would greet you. He greeted my mom a couple of times. Seemed a very nice man. When I was little, I asked him, "Who's this guy?" "Oh, he's the owner." "No, okay." So the department store was very unique. And I remember the first floor had school uniforms. We used to wear those suits. There was a watches area. They had a cafeteria. They had a book section. They had a tobacco section, which is kind of cool, So, and then the second floor had dresses, women's clothing. And that's when we went to see Santa Claus. We saw him there in the second floor. The third floor was appliances, televisions, ovens, refrigerators. I don't know if I had a fourth floor. Maybe. I'm not sure. I begged my mom, "Can we go to the fourth floor and see what's up there?" She goes, "No." Okay. She rode the escalator. They had an elevator, I think, somewhere. I don't remember. But we always took the elevator. There was a staircase near the tobacco area. You sold pipes and cigars. They had like that. Anyway, they also had a basement. You go down to the basement, and they had a grocery store. Oh, convenient. So my mom did her grocery shopping. She told me it was kind of expensive at times, but it was very close. It was very convenient. A&P was on the same block at 112th Street, so she went there too. She found it easier. There was a National Foods down 115th, but that was too far. You had to walk like 3 blocks. My mom didn't drive or take the bus. There was a high-low, but that was way at 103rd Street, way over there, like that. So, also there was a lady that owned a store that had imports, Greek imports like feta cheese, vegetables, produce. That was kind of cool, and she was very sweet. That was like near 113th Street, right near Woolworths and Legion Magnavox, that store over there. Anyway. So back to the basement of Gately's. We did our shopping there, and of course, right near the escalator was the donut machine. And that contraption was there for a long, long time. I don't know when it was installed, but it was there when we lived there, and you actually saw the donuts being made. Like they were rolled on a conveyor belt and dumped into a vat of oil, so they can fry like that. And you watch them, and it's kind of cool. And I would press my hands to look at the window to see, and that was awesome. And they smelled delicious. And then they came in all kinds of flavors, plain, old fashioned, chocolate frosted, vanilla frosted with sprinkles, and also and they were fresh every day, not like Dunkin' Donuts, not like Krispy Kreme, no, not like Stan Donuts. Well, maybe Stan, I don't know, I've never bought one. So that's how it was. It was awesome. My brother remembers the popcorn machine. If anyone lived in Roseland, if they remember the popcorn machine, let me know. So a lot of people that I knew, especially, that went to my church or school that lived in the area, did visit there, and they do remember the donut machine. And that was kind of cool when the donuts were ready. They were ready, and then they would, decorate them or have them plain. You put them in a white paper bag, and they smell so good. And so my mom bought a couple of times over there to treat us, We didn't drink coffee at the time, I was little, but I'm sure they were delicious, and you could dunk them. Anyway, so that was one of the most unique things I ever saw when I was growing up. And I've never forgotten that. And a couple of Roseland groups on Facebook mentioned this from time to time, and I haven't said anything. I wish somebody would have taken a picture of it, at least to see that. I haven't seen anything yet. I wish they did. Someone who was the manager then, or an employee. No. And then Gately's closed in 1980. I don't know if the donut machine was still there. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know when it was dismantled. So they should have kept it in a museum. They should have. That would have been cool. They probably threw it out. Oh, that's a shame. That really is. So, as for eating donuts today, I excuse me, I'm stuttering. So, I occasionally eat a donut, but I try to stay away from them because it's not good for you. It's sugar and all that. So once in a while, I'll get a treat. Okay. But I wouldn't go every day. No, I know some people do. I mean, come on. Your glucose will go bloop. So, but it's a great breakfast treat. Anyway, all right. So, that's one of my fondest memories of growing up in Roseland, is the donut machine. Okay. So that's it for this program. I'll do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about the 50-50 grapefruit / lime soda that came from Canfields in Chicago. Also, the donut machine that was located in the basement of Geekly's People's Store. That was a department store located on East 112th Street and South Michigan Avenue in the Roseland neighborhood of Chicago. This podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, almost belched. Breaker, Overcast, probably iHeartRadio, Odyssey, whatever you call it. It's also on my blog, www.vanchicagoland.blog. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel again and again and again. People still ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where do I find your podcast? You can find it on YouTube. Go to YouTube, do a search, type in Van Chicagoland Stories, or my name, Peop, and click on subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. You can listen to previous episodes as you wish. You'll receive a notification. Oh, and I failed to mention on the apps, if you tap following, you'll receive a notification. You can listen to the latest episode and also previous episodes as well. You'll also be sure to my social media accounts, Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. Did I forget anything? I don't know. I think that's it. Yeah, you can find those. Okay. Before I sign off, I want to mention something. This is the last show of the season 15. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. We'll start season 16 on Tuesday. Probably. 16 seasons. Wow. It'll be episode 376. Oh my God. I know someone that, I'll say his name is James Van Osdol. He did 1,000 episodes on his podcast. 1,000. I don't know if I could do 1,000. Maybe I could, but I got a long way to go. So he does his practically every day, I imagine. So congratulations, James. I'm happy for you. He's a nice guy. I met him once in person. Very nice man. He used to work for Q101. So anyway, so this will be the last show of this season. So I forgot where I left off. So I'm very happy for that. I'll think of some other things to talk about on that special occasion. Okay. So this is Peop, your host of Van Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today's a beautiful day. I went for a walk yesterday, and that felt good. And I will probably do it again today. Yeah, it was nice. And I believe the Bears are on. Chicago Bears. Yeah, please enjoy the game. Okay, and so just relax. It's Sunday. Take it easy. And I will do that as well. Okay, so here's bye-bye for me, and here's a little traveling music from Ray Rayner saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.